Hey everybody, it's Kyle here. Welcome back to another video. In this week's video, I want to talk about cerebral palsy and how it's affected my friendships because if I'm being honest with you, it's affected friendships a lot more than I'm willing to admit, but I'm going to admit it to you today. Um, Growing up, I was very insecure, and you wouldn't think that because I've met my lifelong friend Thomas in preschool. Um, So you would think I would be very comfortable with meeting people and getting to know and showing people who I am, but couldn't be further from the truth. Besides Thomas and some neighbor friends, um, I really didn't have that many people in my life, that many friends, my cousins. Um, but you know, that's say 5 people. And when those 5 people were busy because they had their own lives, I sat alone in my room. And, you know, I would cry and I would be upset. And that's when I would turn to music as therapy instead of talking about it to people because I didn't want to be a burden. Um, so don't do what I do. And if you are feeling um, angry, upset, don't be afraid to talk it out. Because honestly, talking about it really does get it off your chest so you can release it and move forward from it, as I'm learning through these YouTube videos. Um, but even the friends that I did have, I was always afraid that they were going to stop being my friends, or besides Thomas taking pity um, on me uh, because they felt bad for me and the fact that I had a disability. Um, so I was very clingy. Like I would ask to hang out, and when they would say no, I would get very defensive. I would get very angry, and I would immediately turn to, "Well, you just don't like me then." And they'd be like, "No, Kyle, I'm just busy." I bring this up because I still vividly remember being on AIM talking to my friend Alyssa, and I remember asking her if she wanted to hang out, and she said no for whatever reason, and I remember being like, "You don't like me, like why don't you like me? What did I do? Like how, can I fix it? Can I, like, what's wrong?" And she was like, "No, Kyle, like you're fine, I'm just busy." But my brain was not allowing me to look at it that way because I was just so insecure that, you know, they didn't like me for me, they just felt bad for me. I know that's not true with any of those friendships, um, but I know that now, but at the time, I just felt like they felt bad for me. Um, that nagging voice in my head telling me, like, nobody likes you because you're disabled. Oh, wheelchair, arm crutches, you know, they're just taking pity on you. And I let that affect me a lot. Um, I would get very angry, standoffish. So I apologize to my childhood friends. That kind of carried over into high school. Up until, thankfully, it was just sophomore year when I started to develop a group of friends. But elementary school, grade school, all of that, I was very standoffish. I was very angry, and the anger came from not accepting my disability at the time. But the anger was also because I didn't talk about the fact that I was angry. Because I didn't want to be a burden, or I didn't want a burden to my parents, and I didn't want my friends to feel like I was too hard to handle, So I just bottled it up. Please don't do that. If you're feeling anger, sadness, talk about it. They're difficult things to talk about. I'm not going to say that they're not. Um, but I just had a difficult conversation over the weekend that needed to happen. Did I want to do it? No. Was it necessary? Yes. And we're both better off. Um, I feel like we're in a much better place now that we actually had a hard conversation. But I didn't want to have that conversation because I just hate confrontation. I hate making people upset. So I just, try to avoid it for as long as I can until it's not avoidable anymore. And that's something I'm still working on. But in high school, I was very standoffish, and I kind of made the unrealistic assumption that people just didn't like me because I was disabled. Um, I just avoided making friends so I wouldn't have to feel their rejection. So, to anyone who is watching this who knew me in high school and tried to be my friend and felt like I wasn't very receptive, it's not that I didn't want to be, it was that at that time I didn't know how to be. So I missed out, I'm sure, on quite a few good friendships because the voice in my head was too loud telling me that nobody's going to like you. They're just going to feel sorry for you. But thankfully, in high school, in sophomore year, I did meet a group of people. So thank you to Christina, Crystal, April, Matt. We're actually not friends anymore, but still thank you to him. And just that whole group, and that's it. I had like 4 friends, and I was perfectly okay with that at the time, because after drifting away mostly from my childhood friends and not having that many friends, when you find a group of people who say they like you and they actually mean it. Like, I knew at that point that they meant it, and I still have all of those pretty much. And it feels good. It feels good to actually have friends that know me for me, and they watched me accept my disability. They watched me grow into this person who stopped letting disability control their life. And I'm sure that wasn't always easy. So, once I finally established a group of friends that I could, actually relate to and allow myself to be open to, like, that's when kind of the weight lifted off my shoulders. In some sense, like, I can make friends and I can be happy. Then, my social circle has expanded from there. I met wonderful people in college, who I'm actually having virtual meeting with tonight. I've met friends recently, over the last few months, and they've just helped me become the best version of myself that I can be. Like, and I'm not saying I'm done at all. Like, I have a lot of work to do, but I just know now that I have good quality people, who are there to me, or they're there to me, there for me, to support me, and know that I will say, though, that the whole insecure thing, of like, people are gonna leave me, that followed me a lot, even though I know now that I'm secure in all the friendships that I have. That followed me up until a couple of years ago. Not particularly with every friend, but there were still instances where that voice would come back and be like, they're gonna leave because you're mad at them. So I would I would be mad and I would bury it. And now I realize with all my friendships, you have to be honest so you can have a strong friendship. It can't be one-sided. And for a lot of the time growing up, it all was. I would just do whatever they wanted because we were friends, and that was all I want. That's what I wanted. Um, you know, with all my female friends, I've watched so many romantic movies because, at first it was just because that's what they wanted, but now I'm not afraid to say that I will watch a good romance movie. Um, I think that's a good thing to touch on is a lot of my friends growing up, the ones that I did make, um, all the way through high school, were female. I just felt I could relate to them more, I guess, because I didn't fit that masculine type. I wasn't into cars. I wasn't into sports. Um, I wasn't into video games. I didn't know how to connect because all the things that everybody was talking about, that new, COD, Halo, all that, I didn't know. I have a Wii and I love my Mario games, but I didn't do video games because I wasn't good at them, and I didn't allow myself to get better at them because I wasn't good at them. A vicious cycle. Um, so I always felt that it was easier to talk to women um, because they looked at me like their brother, and I just felt like I could relate to them, I guess, on books, movies, kind of other things. Um, so I had a lot of female friends. Um, and that kind of leads to, I feel like, one of two assumptions. He's gay or he's a pimp. And I say a pimp because a guy at a bar called me a pimp because he saw me with all my female friends, and he said, "You're a pimp." And I didn't like that, but I'm not out to date all my female friends. I just was more comfortable making female friends. I once had a friend in college tell me that she was my friend because, well, not my friend, that she came up to me to introduce herself because I didn't appear threatening. Um, I kind of laugh at that now. Um, we ended up being really good friends in college. But I guess, I had the brother demeanor, and that's what I became, the brother type, you know, all- and it was just easy. It wasn't so easy when my female friends had boyfriends, and not all of the boyfriends liked me because they felt that, um, I was trying to steal their girlfriend from them, which couldn't be further from the truth because, I was just happy to have friends, um, female or male, and I was just trying to stay friends. I didn't want to lose my friends that I'd worked so long and hard to make. So I am friends with boyfriends now, um, which is good. I'm glad, I think, because they've helped even out the proportions of males and female friends in my life. But there have been a couple of boyfriends that I don't talk to anymore. Like they've since broken up and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't stay friends after that because we weren't really good friends while they, you know. But thanks, Hans. Thanks, Zach, um, for sticking it out with me. Because I do appreciate um, having a bigger mix of friends now that are more evenly proportioned to male and female. Because it feels kind of good to realize that I can be friends with men, and we can relate on things. In high school, I just felt like I didn't know how to relate. So it's nice to know that I can. it was, it has been a struggle with friends. Um, the not wanting to upset friends caused me a lot of, extra stress on myself than I needed. And I can admit that to myself now. And, that's why I don't do it anymore. Because I stress myself out so much by bottling up so many things. Because that's not real friendship. One-sided friendship isn't real friendship, and it's not going to last. And I've realized that if people are going to be my friend, they have to know who I am, because I'm selling them lies if anything else. Excuse me. But I am really happy that I have come this far in the friendship journey of just, allowing people to actually see me and being open to the idea of making new friends. Because being 26 now, if you would ask my 16-year-old self, I was miserable. I didn't like to show that, especially to my parents, because, they were doing everything they could. It was just something I needed to work through, and it took me a long time to get through. But I want to tell anyone out there watching this who is struggling with the idea of feeling the need to make a lot of friends, or being in friendships that, are one-sided, or they're taking advantage of you because you're not speaking up. Don't be afraid. And I realize now, I can express myself to my friends and how I'm feeling, and know that we're still going to be friends. We may argue, it may be difficult, but if we're really good friends like we say we are, we'll figure it out. I just didn't know that at the time, or feel that at the time, that I could be honest without losing my friends. But I want people to know that are struggling like I did, that you can be honest, and if your honesty makes them mad at you and they don't want to be your friend, then they're not worth keeping in your life. Because I realize now it's about quantity and not quality. No. Oh my God, that completely goes against the complete message of this video. The message of this video is partially that it's about quality and not quantity. Quantity comes later, because I had 5 friends in high school-ish, give or take a couple. Now I could say I have well over 20 good quality friends. Thank you to all of them. I hope they realize who they are. But the quantity will come as you get more confident, and realizing that you are worthy of having good, strong friendships. And your voice matters in those friendships. And I don't want any of my friends who watch this who may be wondering, why didn't he say that to me, or what hasn't he said to me? That was just on me. And if there's anything that I didn't ever say at the time that I should have said, that's on me, and that's kind of water under the bridge, because if I haven't brought it to you at this point, then it's kind of gone. Because I probably don't remember, and it's probably not important anymore. But I definitely know there were times where I would bottle up my feelings, even up until a couple of years ago. Um, not with every friend, but with certain friends, just being afraid of losing that friend. And then once I was finally like brave enough to start speaking out completely with everybody and realizing that everybody was still there, um, you know, I just felt really good. Because then that proved to my CP voice that, like, yep, these are the people that are supposed to be here. Um, and I appreciate every one of my friends. And yeah, I just actually can't thank people enough, actually. Um, but I will say, if there's any piece of advice, again, it's don't be afraid to start small and putting yourself out there. Maybe with just one new person, 2 new people. Start small, work your way up, build your confidence to know that your voice matters in a friendship. If you are really good friends, that your voice and your impact will bring a lot to the friendship. It will enrich the friendship and make it stronger. Start small, work your way up. Realize that as you get more comfortable, you will make more friends. Like, your group will grow. You can still have quality and quantity, as the years go on. And, it's it's okay to make new ones. Keep making new friends. Don't ever stop being comfortable with the friend group you have. There are room for as many friends as you want to have. Because I know it's easier to have one really good friend, and maybe a lot less drama sometimes. But you can have as many friends as you want to have, and they can still be quality friends. And there's room in to fit everybody in. Because it doesn't have to be. You don't have to stay in your little bubble. I wish I could tell my younger self that. But that's why I'm hoping to make this video, that someone who is feeling this way hears it. So if you know somebody that you feel is struggling with this, please share it with them. If you've enjoyed this video, please share it. If you liked what you heard, please don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. I post new videos every Tuesday. Yeah, this video was a lot longer than a typical video, but I didn't feel like I could talk about how CP has affected my friendships in the typical 10 minutes, because it's affected me quite a lot. And I wanted to share that with you. And I hope this video isn't as awkward as it feels, but it feels good to share this so someone else doesn't have to feel the same way that I did. But thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.